Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Howdy and welcome to Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin and our guest today is Judith Pertz.
Hello, Ralph.
Welcome to the show, Judith.
Thank you.
Judith is the daughter of Doris Pertz, who is a longtime member of the Folk Project, our mother organization here at Horses Sing None of It. And Judith is a flute player who has traveled all over the world to meet and play with other musicians, and especially flute players.
Well, not only flute players, many different types of musicians. Mm-hmm.
So take it over, Judith. Just tell us what your journeys have been about.
I have made many trips, but today I want to speak about several of them, a few. And I wanted to start out with Senegal. We visited Senegal for the first time in 1995. And we were very impressed with the musicians there, and we went back in '96 and made a series of recordings. The people there are very poor, they live in poverty, so we make these CDs. For example, the first one, which we're going to show, is that one you can see there, is with Bakary Jeju, and I played with him, and on the CD you hear some solo of pieces of him too. And you can show some of the different pictures of him playing whilst the music's going on.
This has been playing the drums?
Yeah, the boograbu, that's 3 or 4 drums, and someone stands in front of him. He's got rattles on his wrist, did you hear shaking? All the drum sounds are made by one person.
Put this up?
Yeah, it might be a good shot.
This is a great photo. very photogenic man.
Yeah.
And is this you playing flute on the recording with him?
It's piccolo.
Piccolo.
Couldn't hear my flute when he was playing, so I had to play the piccolo to communicate with him. It's so very loud, those drums.
We have one other photo of him here.
We did the recording on one afternoon, and he just kept playing and playing. I once saw a young guy playing these drums, and after 15 minutes he was completely exhausted. But this guy, he's really super athlete. He's got these huge muscles. And we just went on and on for 45 minutes at a time, and then he'd have a quick cup of tea, and then he'd just continue. And at midnight he wanted to go on and play more. But we decided that was enough. Everyone was asleep in the whole compound, and he was still playing.
An enthusiastic musician.
Yeah, he was great.
A party guy.
Yeah.
And what was his name again?
Bakari Jeju. And yeah, so that was one of the musicians. Very exciting to work with him. And I want to play a track of a CD I made of Bully Diwara, who is a kora player. This is the front cover of the CD, and the kora is an especially beautiful instrument of Senegal. This was in the Casamance in the south of Senegal, and it's my idea that this type of music is less known of African music. It's very subtle and a lot of feeling in it. And the men playing the kora are also a troubadour of the village. They will sing all traditional songs, and then they'll add some extra news of the village into it. For example, this song is about traditionally about a king who had a wife, and he ignored his wife, and then one day he suddenly came across this particular wife in the fields, and then he had a son. She had a son of his, and everything good happened to her, and thanks to God, this has happened. But I asked someone to translate for me the exact words he was singing, and it turns out he was singing not the words of the song, but he was singing, for example, these neighbors shouldn't be fighting with each other, and everyone should be getting along well with each other, and we should make peace with each other, and no, etc. He was talking about some village argument and trying to solve it while singing this song. So that's, and typically, or they sing songs of praise to sing about some person who they hope will give them something.
So they make up words while they're singing.
Yeah, there are traditional texts, but they also make up a lot of the words that they're talking about. And if you look at some of the other photographs, for example, they have no electricity there, and they have to pull the water up out of the well. The middle picture is one of his daughter holding the baby and pulling that tin can is around the well so the kids don't fall in the hole in the ground. And they have to just pull up the water pail by pail for cooking, for washing, and etc. And they have huge families. Bully had 2 wives and something like 13 children.
Wow.
I don't know. quite a big crowd, and their life is very difficult.
And I understand you help them out by selling some of the CDs that you have made, recordings of these people?
Yeah, the CDs I make are of these series of CDs are especially to aid the musicians, so any profit would go to them. And also I have some friends that go there regularly, and they bring some CDs that they can sell to the tourists that come in. So for that reason, they have a little bit of extra income.
Okay. We should let folks know how to get in touch with you through your email address, which is jpertz @hotmail.com.
JL Pertz.
JL Pertz, JLPERTZ @hotmail.com for more information about these recordings, and Judith can email you her website address, which is rather complicated, for more information about these things.
He's got an incredibly powerful voice.
What is the instrument he's playing?
It's called a kora. It sounds like a combination between guitar and harp. It's made of there's a big calabash, and then you have a stick into it, and there's some strings attached on both sides, which they are playing like this. And the next piece is also kora music, and it'll be coming up soon, but it might be interesting to show this photograph. This is where I was recording, which was in the just outside of the village, because it was a little bit quieter there. And when I was playing, so I had the earphones on and the microphone, I'd set up a couple of microphones, and all these recordings were made in this primitive way. I did have a DAT recorder with me, and
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good quality. I don't know if the camera can get this, but this was our recording studio. You were sitting there, and the selection that's going to come up was recorded as the sun was going down, so you can hear the birds singing some of the time. Mm. This particular CD is called Abaraka, and Abaraka means thank you, and it also means a blessing. It has two meanings, and the moment was very special between we were playing and the sun was going down and the birds were singing, and it was like being in perfect harmony, so it was like being thank you. And he spontaneously just made up these words. He's singing in his own language, Manding. We are recording here at the Ballon and Abaraka and different instruments, and he also mentions our names and things like that. This is the man, this is the brother of the other kora player. You can see the instruments a little bit better maybe from that CD. Alamambe ma bilala A lot of the young guys there like to have a restaurant. Never would expect this to come from West Africa. You would expect more drums, and I think this is a very special music. Gora kumata matanda kumata, gora kumata matanda kumata, balavon kumata majimbe kumata. I also have another CD which I don't have with me today of a balafon player. Balafon is like a kind of a xylophone.
We have actually had a balafon player on this show.
All right, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I can find his picture. His picture is up here somewhere in the backdrop.
Yeah, that's nice. So now we're going to completely changed to another country, and this was a journey I made to Little Tibet. It's called Little Tibet because it's part of the Tibetan plateau. It used to be on the outskirts of the Tibetan Buddhist culture, and now since Chinese have taken over Tibet, but this part is in Indian jurisdiction, so the people can continue their way of life as normal there. This is a woman of about 19 years old. She was singing for me some children's songs. It might be interesting to show this. We made a trip with a horseman, and we were walking, and we made a 6-week trip through this mountainous area. And this was at the horseman's home while we were loading up the horses.
This we you're talking about is you and Tom?
Yes, my husband. Yes, that's right.
Who is the photographer of most of these shots?
Yes, he has made all the photographs. That's right. These are some of the mountains you pass. It's desert mountains, so it's incredibly beautiful and a very hard existence.
Beautiful photographs.
Yeah. In this one you can see a little bit the mountains, and you see a village in the back. Maybe you can see a couple of white houses. It might be a little bit difficult, I'm not sure. But the green is the fields, and it's only green because they can irrigate from the snow melt during the summer, and they can make barely enough to live on by that. The next track is of women's singing. This is quite a nice story. We were camping in someone's backyard in a village, and in the night, maybe about 11 at night, while we were already in our tent, one of the women came and said, "Come, only lady, only lady, come." And I had to bring my flute and my recorder, and there were all the women of that particular part of the village who were sitting around the room, and they were playing songs, and I was supposed to join in, and they wanted me to record them, and this is the result of it. But Ton wasn't allowed to come. This photograph was made a year later when we came to visit them again, just to give them a copy of the CD.
Women's Only Club.
Women's Only Club, yeah.
And they're playing the drums that we hear?
One of the women was playing in drums, yeah. They were like, I guess you don't see them there, but there were 2 circular drums with around the bottom with skin over the top, and she was playing with sticks. It's a particular technique that they have. They sing very high. Their voices it's like you might think it was children, but these are just the same way. So used to high singing. And it was such a fun because they were dancing and they were This particular song was interesting because it has to do with relationship. I'm missing my husband or missing my boyfriend, and since he's not here, and then they explain all kinds of things about how they're missing their friend, and some of the texts were also improvised. So it was someone translated it later, and someone else translated it, and the first person was very cautious in his translation, and the other one gave the real translation. So that was funny. And on the next track, you will hear some nuns, and they're doing what they call discourse. You can see that here. I guess these are good pictures of it. It's a kind of practice of Tibetan Buddhism, where they ask questions about the philosophy, and then the other one has to answer. and they always answer with a big clap. So you hear that. You can see a little bit of the path we took, and if you have to cross the river, what it looks like.
So these are philosophical questions and answers?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And in the beginning they're set questions and answers, and when they get more advanced they get more philosophical about it and have more real conversations.
What is the sound of one hand clapping?
Maybe, yeah, but I'm not sure exactly because it's all in Tibetan. And they don't, their language is not Tibetan, it's Zanskari in that area, but they learn Tibetan. And there's another track on this is a double CD, and on that moment that was in a monastery called Lingshet, and at that time they were doing a special celebration. They made a sand mandala. This was made by pouring sand by 4 or 6 different monks. It was quite large, maybe a diameter of, what would it be, about 4 or 5 feet in diameter. And it takes them 2 weeks to make these. And then they have 1 week of singing and religious songs and pujas, and they were putting on a yellow hat and then a red hat and a black ribbon, and of course we don't know really what it's about, but it was incredible work. And the last week they celebrate the destroying of the sand painting. In the end they pour it into the river. So it takes 1 month, this particular, all these ceremonies to complete. Typical expression of the Buddhist flowering and coming to being and flowering and then passing away, as often said.
That is really beautiful. Mandala. The work that went into that.
It's incredible. And they make it all, they make the sand, they grind the rocks to make the sand.
Oh, wow.
Quite a lot of work. We would never think of that, to put it in the water. It's part of their tradition.
We would coat it with polyester plastic and put it in a museum.
This is a front and back cover of the CD, the double CD. Okay. So those are some selections of an idea of what our flute journeys are like. Sometimes you hear the flute and sometimes not. It depends on if it comes to pass. And I guess the last piece, actually I wanted to give a demonstration of the shakuhachi flute. There's the opposite side of the CD, Journey to Little Tibet. Actually, that's a picture of me sitting next to a shepherd, playing a little bamboo flute. So the last, I don't know, how much time do we have?
We have about 4 minutes.
4 minutes,
5 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to play a piece on the shakuhachi. In the year 2001-2002, I went on a journey that lasted 1 year, and I visited many countries. And one of the countries I visited was Japan, and I studied shakuhachi there. I was there for 2 months, And I love this instrument, and it's actually from a bamboo. It's a special kind of bamboo. As maybe you can, I don't know if you can see how thick it is. This is the end where the root was of the bamboo tree, and they can make the shakuhachis when the bamboo is about 70 years old, and the tree lives to 110 years in total. They told me, and you see it's open at the top, and there's a rounded thing here, and you blow it like this. Okay, maybe you can pull the chair back. It's somewhat like the flute blowing, which has some different things. And what I love about this instrument is that there's so many different sounds in it. For example, you have a sound that is made like this, but you can also play it like this, but also like this. So and each one has a very subtle difference in quality of sound, which they use in the music. The piece I'm going to play now is one of the tradition of the meditative type of music. This was quite old. There were monks who played this music for special rituals, and they always had basket over their head, so they would be anonymous. I'm not going to play with a basket, because I don't prefer to do that. And this piece is called Yamato Choshi.
In between the line of chants, not sure if I should sing or dance. Shop roof sheltering me, not from the cold, frosty weather, but from my thoughts of poverty and shame. I guess that's the name of the game, trying to set myself free from me. No work again today. These numbers is my only way. How can I refuse? Win or lose, I know I'm being used, trying to kick this no work, get rich quick blues.
It's easy to play lotto. All you need is $1 and a dream. Thank you and good night.